You look at the latest Final Fantasy and immediately think, wow, Sephiroth, you look amazing. Then you turn to the other side and are left speechless by the stunning representation of Japan's districts in Yakuza like a dragon. And that's what today's video is all about, those video games with such realistic graphics that they leave you breathless, whether it's through their incredible character designs, their environments, or their animated creatures like the gigantic dragons in Dragon's Dogma. Wow, do they look good. Rise of the Ronin. Rise of the Ronin presents us with 3 large open maps, Yokohama, Kyoto, and one other, each with its own unique characteristics, architecture, and urban layout. One city isn't the same as the other, and each one has a great level of detail that immerses you in the era where this game is set, right in the middle of Japan's Bakumatsu period in the 19th century. It's not a game that's incredibly realistic in how its characters look, but when it comes to open spaces, it's stunning, especially in the pleasure district of Okama, where the fantastic lighting makes you fall in love with the place. Deus Ex Mankind Divided. Deus Ex Mankind Divided is another gem I have to mention when talking about realistic graphics. Narratively, Eidos Montreal's game loves to play with light and shadow, and it does so in such an effective way that this contrast is even more pronounced in the graphical component. Indoors, we can find soft lighting that blends with small details like a mist formed by the cold. Outdoors, the neon lights are abundant, and we have highly detailed environments that reflect the social issues illustrated in this franchise, Black Desert. It's really tough to stand out in the MMORPG genre. There are big names that are hard to topple, but among all that competition, Black Desert carved out its own niche thanks to its stunning graphics. The fantastic world it creates looks so believable that the immersion it offers is truly praiseworthy. There's a wide variety of locations, and most of them boast great artistic work. The heroes have fluid animations that are reflected in both their combat movements and their clothing and facial expressions. And the monsters, just seeing them brings a smile to your face. This is a huge technical achievement, especially considering that there are thousands of players playing at the same time as you. What a technical feat. Elden Ring.
Corpse after corpse left in my wake, as I awaited his return. Heed my words. I am Melania, Blade of Mikola.
The lands between in Elden Ring offer spectacular, unforgettable images so unique and varied. Each one invites us to want to know what lies beyond what we see at first glance, and every little corner of its open world is as detailed as you'd expect from its development team. The game's structures not only look realistic, but also have an internal story that enhances their photorealism. It's not just about what they show you at first glance, but how they show it to you in a very specific and detailed context. The wildlife, from small animals to large beasts, is incredibly well done, and every living creature feels real and organic. Even though it's an intergenerational game, it stands tall among the titans of its time, and it does so thanks to its artistic direction, which elevates all the virtues we just detailed. Final Fantasy XV.
The decreed hour is come. Set forth with my blessing, Prince Noctis.
Thank you, Your Majesty.
Take your leave and go in the grace of the gods.
Right.
You've probably heard Barney Stinson's phrase, "Nothing you do in life is legendary unless your best friends are there to see it." Well, Final Fantasy XV captures that feeling perfectly. Every experience we live with Noctis' friends in the Kingdom of Lucis has its own particular realism, which further enhances the sense of intimacy and camaraderie we feel with them. The quiet gatherings around a campfire, where the flames emerge from the wood and release tiny particles into the air, are a prime example. The protagonist's magnificent hair would deserve an entire article of its own. Watching them eat or play together forms a small-scale representation of the realism in this installment, but if what you're after is enjoying everything on a grand scale, just look at how beautiful Alticia looks. Baldur's Gate 3. Baldur's Gate 3 has captured the attention of an entire generation of gamers who have found a new standard in this game for what Dungeons & Dragons is all about. It's pure role-playing at its finest, but amid its explosion of fame, one of its greatest strengths shines through: its realism. The work of Larian Studios possesses an incredible level of expressiveness in every shot, in every recreated scene. There are a lot, and in the effects surrounding every battle we find ourselves in. If you haven't tried it yet, I have to tell you that it offers many paths to reach the same destination. The expressiveness of its characters is breathtaking, and it's rare to find a setting where you can't interact with everything. Seriously, you end up believing you're right there, fully immersed, and yes, that's given us plenty of memes. Atlas Fallen. In a desert full of mysteries, I find an RPG with noteworthy graphics. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, even though Atlas Fallen made many mistakes in its design, one thing that's undeniably worth highlighting is its graphical prowess. The use of the Fledge engine provides a fantastic experience that's visually stunning. Like many other games we've mentioned, this is due to its excellent lighting work, which looks remarkably good both indoors and outdoors. You can notice it while exploring different caves, talking to residents of various cities, or venturing into a desert that seems endless. Final Fantasy XVI.
Knowing that you have but delayed the inevitable. Your world is already dead. May you enjoy an eternity on its blackened husk.
Final Fantasy XVI is another example that proves that outstanding art direction can make a game that might not be the best graphically become a leader thanks to this proper oversight. It sounds paradoxical at first, yes, but once you're immersed in the adventure, you'll be frozen in awe at the visual spectacle. Without belittling the rest of Final Fantasy, this installment is the most spectacular in the most literal sense of the word. The entire narrative is focused precisely on giving you a show you won't forget. The movements, attacks, and reactions of each icon possess extraordinary detail. Pay close attention to how Ifrit strikes, how Garuda's feathers move with accurate realism, and how the actions of both directly impact the environment they fight in. And stepping away from the grandiose battles, you'll also find scenes and character models with excellent work behind them that don't clash with the exaggerated tone of this game in the best sense of the word. Remnant 2. Remnant 2 is a wild ride. You can destroy various objects around you. It's thrilling to see how enemy blood splatters, and it's impressive to watch as different forms of transportation, like trains, end up rusted and forgotten. The environments feel desolate, and their bleak aesthetic, combined with great attention to detail, evokes a deep sense of despair. However, what shines most in this game are its boss fights. Thankfully, each one looks amazing, and just to give you an example, I'll mention Filing, who can manipulate fire in a way that leaves us breathless when they start wielding it in front of us. Starfield. Now, I am very clear, it's an incredibly advanced product, both in exterior and interior environments. Its graphical component is truly surprising, making us pause to admire every recreated detail or expansive exterior with extraordinary lighting. Every material in this game has a different texture, or at least it appears so. Even though we have various types of spacecraft, their individual components are diverse and don't seem like they're pulled from the same cookie cutter model that's copied and pasted onto each ship. Given that there's a random generation of planets, it's logical to think that not all settings will be equally breathtaking, but those with an almost obsessive level of detail are the ones that leave a lasting impact. Lies of P.
Can you hear me? Geppetto's puppet. We need your help.
Lies of P strikes a balance between being a great homage to Souls games and a tribute to Miyazaki's work. It moves between these two ideas, and while it does, it offers a visual show that captivates anyone who glimpses it for the first time. Its desolate atmosphere, the architecture of each setting, the clever use of light and shadow, the effective use of weather, and of course the impressive character modeling all make the universe of Lies of P feel believable within the grand tale it ends up being. Kingdom Come Deliverance.
A messenger? He was in a hurry. What's happened?
I've mentioned Kingdom Come Deliverance many times, especially when talking about realism, both historically and photorealistically. In both aspects, this RPG shines brightly thanks to its CryEngine, which makes both its environments and various infantry units look stunning. Most of its natural settings feel believable and realistic within their medieval context. Lush forest streams we can walk through and gigantic castles that invite exploration. The soldiers look like they've stepped right out of the Middle Ages. So what are you waiting for? Dive into this medieval adventure. It won't leave you indifferent, I promise. Demon's Souls Remake. Moving on from being a game that wasn't a visual benchmark but was artistically impressive, we now have the Demon's Souls Remake, which has finally become a worthy graphical protagonist of the PlayStation 5 generation. Every setting possesses an almost obsessive level of detail, and the atmosphere in each place feels special with lighting that leaves a strong impact. From every cobblestone on the ground to the sword you wield with precision, even our attacks or those of our enemies have realistic reactions. Our weapons can bounce off objects around us and hinder our victory in battle, but that doesn't take away from the fact that the massive strikes from the final bosses make us think their attacks might bounce back due to the magic of realism. Dragon's Dogma 2.
Charge awaits you. You cannot linger in this place forever. You have lost your memories. 'Tis surely the work of a fell curse, but worry not. You need only believe in your own destiny, Arisen.
The entire world of this game is constantly interacting with itself, which makes the whole playable universe feel even more believable and enhances the graphical aspect we're discussing. If you face a gigantic griffin with a companion, you'll notice how every part of its body has outstanding detail feathers that can get wet, scales on its legs, how it reacts to fire or water, and that's without mentioning that every reaction from every monster or common character reacts naturally to their environment. Simply wow. Final Fantasy VII Remake.
Huh? Look!
Ho, ho, ho.
The reimagining of Final Fantasy VII has given us one of the most beautiful video games you'll find in recent years, both in its remake and its sequel, Rebirth. Cloud's story enjoys photorealism worthy of praise. Yes, I know it might seem odd to combine ultra-fantastical monsters with a very traditional and grounded realism like the Seventh Heaven, but does it really matter? Every model, no matter how unbelievable it may seem, is detailed to an almost obsessive level. Look at Cloud's eyes, how the lighting creates unforgettable scenes, or how the fire and its particles behave with hyper-realistic accuracy. I could go on like this all day, but whether inside or outside of Midgar, Final Fantasy VII has graphics that make us tip our hats, like a dragon, infinite wealth. Those of you who've enjoyed the adventure of like a Dragon Infinite Wealth will understand immediately why I've included this game on this list. I could also mention the Judgment series, from which you'll get a clear idea. The Yakuza games are beautiful and represent Japan with great realism, making you want to hop on a plane and travel there. However, with Infinite Wealth, something different happens. It makes us want to go to Hawaii as well. The representation of the Pacific Island is as realistic as the districts you can explore in previous Yakuza games. This makes the blocks, buildings, market stalls, and various landscapes like waterfalls or beaches end up being breathtaking. Without a doubt, this is a game for dreaming while awake, especially if you can't afford a summer trip to Hawaii. Banishers, Ghosts of New Eden.
Look about you. You brought this curse upon yourselves. Falls to me to lift it.
Maybe they're not ready. Broken hearts need time to heal.
If ever they heal.
Mumble all you want, I regret nothing. The curse struck, and I alone saw the danger. I acted.
And now 'tis I who must act. Demon. Sprite. Evil spirit. I banish you. Great tormentor. I banish you.
Banishers Ghosts of New Eden has become one of the most ambitious games from its studio, telling a ghost story where its eerie fantasy looks absolutely stunning. It's certainly their most polished work in this aspect. Let's take, for example, its grand natural environments, its cold and humid climates, and its unique sense of claustrophobia when surrounded by thick fog that makes battles truly impressive. It's a real achievement that, despite not being the blockbuster, Banishers looks this good. Cyberpunk 2077. Night City, do I even need to say more when we mention this incredible city from Cyberpunk 2077? Every urban environment is detailed to perfection, while the meticulous design of the main characters, with their clothing, physical traits, and more, draws us into the story. What truly immerses you is the city itself. Every vehicle, every building with its imperfections, every tiny particle around you, or the photorealistic lighting, these are all key components that make this game outstanding. The Lords of the Fallen.
Glorious, forgive me. And steer this weapon of deliverance to a worthier servant than I. the metal for this, Crusader. You failed.
Lords of the Fallen is a technical powerhouse that convinces you the moment you pick up the controller. Its photorealistic approach is evident in interiors that enjoy lighting that adapts to the rules of each setting. In a crypt, the light only reaches so far in a grand mausoleum. Lights blend to create a composition that makes you reflect on how video games can give us such impactful images. In exterior settings, this realism is, well, let's say it's shrouded by fog, which doesn't detract from the believability but rather enhances it, making the player's immersion as complete as you'd expect from a game heavily inspired by From Software's work. Hexworks and The Threshold surprised you as much more than we would have expected. The Witcher 3.
Something to tell you, but I'll do so afterwards. As you expire.
If we're talking about recent RPGs that captivate our eyes, The Witcher 3 comes to mind immediately. It would be an absolute sin not to mention the last great adventure of the White Wolf of Blaviken, as it has set a new standard in the world of RPGs. Geralt's journey in search of Ciri had good graphics when it was first released, but now they're even more enhanced with the next-gen patch we received over a year ago, making the numerous landscapes we see look even better and more alive than what we saw back in 2015. Getting lost in Velen evokes a complementary feeling to what you experience in the Isles of Skellige. The vegetation sways in the wind, every puddle we encounter while riding Roach, trees reacting to any weather condition while bathed in a twilight sun. These are powerful forces that complement the villages and settlements of Skellige. What a journey we've just been on, but well, that was all for this video. Make sure to subscribe. I will see you in the next one and have a good day.